Hi my angels, it's Hailey Reese and I hope that you guys are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you. When this video finally reaches you, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I'm excited that you guys are here. For today's video, we're going to be diving into yet another unsolved true crime case. And that is the case of the Delphi murders, or known to some as the Snapchat murders. Now this case really hit close to home for me because while my parents were divorced, my dad lived in a small country town where everybody knew everybody, and my friends and I would wake up in the morning on the weekends, and from morning to night we were in the forest out front the house, out by the lake behind the house, and just hanging out, taking pictures of our own and enjoying the outdoors. So when I heard that a day that began so similar for two best friends ended in tragedy, I was so taken back, and I wanted to share this case with you guys today. Before we get into today's video though, I would very quickly like to thank today's video sponsor, Care of. Care of helps you find the right vitamins personalized just for you. What's amazing is that Care of's holistic online quiz makes it easy to know what vitamins and supplements you need to achieve your health and wellness goals. I really wanted to gain more energy, support digestion, and support endurance and recovery after exercise. I found that small impactful changes, such as including vitamins and supplements into your daily routine, can be just as important for your overall health as the big health goals. I also just love how personalized Care of is from start to finish. You know exactly what your body needs, and it arrives with your name on it, making it feel all the more personalized. So take the Care of quiz, see what vitamins and supplements they recommend for you, and make sure you guys click the link down below and use my code HaileyReese for 50% off of your first month of Care of. And thank you so much to Care of for sponsoring today's video. So let's get into today's case. This case takes place in Delphi, Indiana. And Delphi was described as a very small, tight-knit community that felt very safe. People were notorious for leaving their doors unlocked and letting their kids play outside, and it really wasn't an area where people suspected something of this nature would take place. Monday, February 13th, 2017 was a PA day for 8th graders Liberty German, who goes by Libby, and Abigail Williams, who goes by Abby. Libby was 14 and Abigail was 13, and the girls were absolute best friends. The two had had a sleepover together the night before, had a really amazing night, and the next day the weather was unseasonably nice. Because the weather was so nice for the time of year, and the girls were kind of bored after going about different activities throughout the start of the day, the two decided to take advantage of the nice weather and go take pictures on a hiking trail. Libby's older sister, Kelsey, dropped off Abby and Libby at just after 1:30 p.m. on a trail near the scenic Monon High Bridge. She said she told the girls that she could drop them off as long as they could find another ride home, as she had plans and work later on, and the girls family agreed. So the plan was that the girls were going to be dropped off by Libby's sister and picked up around 3 p.m. Abby and Libby were hanging out, walking along the trail and taking pictures for Snapchat. While walking along the trail, Libby posted a photo to Snapchat at 2:07 p.m. showing Abby crossing the bridge. She also saved a video of a man walking towards them. The bridge, by the way, is a very, very high, rickety bridge, which is just a side note, but I was very surprised when I saw it, so I wanted to include that here. Pickup time came around 3:30 p.m. and Derek, Libby's dad, was there to pick up the girls. Now the girls weren't there, they hadn't shown up to be picked up where they were supposed to. So he began calling Libby repeatedly, to which she would not answer. After calling her a couple of times and not getting through to her, he took it upon himself to get out of his car and go search the general trail, the general area, and didn't see them anywhere. It was at this point that he informed the rest of the family that Libby wasn't picking up, they hadn't came to get picked up, and that he had no idea where they were. After the family briefly searched the area, they decided it was time to get law enforcement involved, as they realized something must be very, very wrong. Everyone was worried and no one had any idea what had happened, but the police didn't suspect foul play initially. The police believed that perhaps the girls were lost on the trail, and at this point, kind of the worst case scenario was that they'd gotten injured or lost their phones or were just missing in general. Nobody suspected what had truly happened. A huge search got underway. In fact, most of the town came to help look for the girls alongside law enforcement, and everybody was searching frantically, calling out for the girls, hoping that they'd reply back if they were injured somewhere on the trail. At around midnight, it was so dark, and due to the terrain, they decided to call off the search until morning light, just to ensure that nobody would get injured while looking for the girls. So around midnight, the search comes to a close and resumed early AM the following day. They searched high and low for the girls, using every resource possible to try to find them. And at this point, people were hopeful that they would find the girls. In fact, Libby's sister had packed a backpack with a granola bar, like snack for them, and a blanket, hoping that when she found them, they'd be relieved and would want a snack. Sadly, on February 14th, 2017, the girls' bodies were found. They were found near the trail several hundred yards from the bridge, on the edge of a private property line. The cause of death in both cases was ruled a homicide. On February 15th, during the press conference announcing the identities of the bodies, the Indiana State Police also released a photo of the man taken from Snapchat. The image shows a white male with his hands in his pockets while walking. He's wearing jeans, a navy blue jacket, and a hat. It's said that this same man can be seen hiding behind trees in Libby's hiking photos, although this has not been publicly confirmed whatsoever. It seems as though the girls knew that they were in danger and that something wasn't right. A brave Libby had taken her phone and recorded video and audio recordings of a male prior to their passing. It seemed to the police that the girls knew that something was about to happen and tried to gather their own evidence to help solve the case should something tragic happen. It's also important to note that both girls were a fan of true crime, so that could play a role into why they decided to gather evidence should something happen. The police believe that the man might have approached the girls on the trail or was following closely, and that's when the girls decided to gather evidence on him. At this time, the police wanted to talk to this male, but they weren't considering a suspect. But that would soon change, and by February 19th, he was the prime suspect in this case. On February 22nd, police announced a $41,000 reward for anyone with information on the case that could lead to the solving of the murders. That same day, police released an audio recording taken by Libby of a man saying, "Down the hill." It's believed that the man forced the girls down the hill, taking them to a location under the bridge before killing them. Since they were able to retrieve audio and video footage from Libby's phone, the police did release the video of the male and a brief audio recording to help assist in finding the suspect. It's unknown to the public how much more they have from Libby's phone, but they have said there is additional evidence on the phone. And it said that in one recording, the girls are heard talking about a creepy man on the bridge who was following them. So they were very aware that something wasn't right. Delphi is a small town of under 3,000 people, so everyone was becoming suspicious of who it could be, and nobody felt safe the way they once had. The sheriff believes that the killer has a connection to Delphi, either having lived there before or still living there now. He said that the hiking trail is most likely too remote to attract outside visitors, and that whomever had done this, they believed knew the terrain and area very, very well. So who could it be? The families were thoroughly investigated, almost to their frustration at times, and though Libby's dad, Derek, was the first to arrive to the scene or the area of where the scene had taken place, he was not ruled a suspect. And though Libby's sister was the last one to see them alive, she was not ruled a suspect either. Nobody in the families were considered suspects or are considered suspects. The two girls were found on the property of a man named Ron Logan, age 77. So in mid-March of 2017, the police executed a search warrant at the home and property. Now, he said he was out buying tropical fish at the time of the murders, and the police concluded that he was not a suspect in the murders. On July 17, 2017, Indiana State Police released a sketch of the murder suspect. The person depicted in the sketch was described as a white male between 5'6" to 5'10", weighing 180 to 220 pounds, with reddish-brown hair and an eye color unknown. On September 27, 2017, police in Colorado arrested a man named Daniel Nations for having an expired Indiana license plate that they say could be linked to the murders. The following day, police called Daniel Nations a person of interest in the case. His wife, Caitlin Nations, couldn't remember the exact movements on her husband the day of the murder, but she was certain that he did not have a vehicle. According to Caitlin, the couple watched the news coverage of the case, and while her husband did look semi-similar to the illustration, she said that there was just no way she believed it could be him. She said there's things that don't match, like it wasn't something her husband would wear. He didn't have that jacket and doesn't wear the hat like that. Only a baseball cap. But let's briefly talk about Daniel, because Daniel has a lengthy criminal history. Daniel was required to register as a sex offender in 2007 after being convicted of indecent exposure, after exposing himself in his car in a parking lot, and later flashing a mother and her child riding bikes. But in 2018, almost a year after Abby and Libby's murder, investigators in Indiana took him off of the suspect list. They claimed that he was no longer a major concern to them, but never gave a reason for the dismissal. On January 8th, 2019, 46-year-old Charles Andrew Eldridge was arrested during an undercover sting operation in Union City, Indiana. Charles went to meet what he thought was a 13-year-old girl, but was met by law enforcement instead. Following his arrest, he was charged, and it was noticed that he looked very similar to the man in the sketch, which raised some suspicion naturally. But by the end of January, he was released, and the police claimed that they had uncovered no evidence to lead them to believe that he had any involvement in the murder of Abby and Libby. On April 22nd, 2019, Indiana State Police claimed that the case was moving in a different direction. It was moving in a new direction. Specifically, law enforcement released a very brief clip of the suspect walking up the bridge and a new revamped version of the 2017 audio saying, "Guys, down the hill." Many people believe that it's possible a gun was pulled after the word "guys" was said because the tone in his voice changed, although that has also not been confirmed. Observers were further stunned when police reached a new sketch of the suspect, one that looked nothing like the original. The new sketch showed a younger, clean-shaven man. The face was a representation of the face of the person captured on Liberty German's phone. They said that both images were of suspects, but the new recent picture was of the prime suspect. They say the man could be anywhere between his 20s and 40s, and they're looking for somebody who appears to be younger than their actual age. In July of 2019, a man named Paul Etter, age 55, rose to the top of the suspect list, but couldn't be questioned because he'd already passed away. But Paul mostly closely resembled the first sketch, not the one currently a person of interest in the case, thus leading police to dismiss him as a suspect. The truth is, very little is known as to what happened to Abby and Libby that day. Though autopsies were conducted, neither the FBI nor police have released an actual time of death, nor have they released a cause of death or whether or not DNA evidence was found at the scene. How Abby and Libby passed away has not been disclosed to the public because police say only the killer knows. They don't want to tell people what had happened because this way, if and when somebody does come forward and knows exactly what happened to Abby and Libby, it'll be easier to weed down who truly did it, because only the killer knows, not the public. The police believe that since the suspected killer's voice and image has been released and nobody's come forward, that somebody out there must know what happened to the girls, but may be afraid to come forward and tell them. As of today, there have been no arrests in the case, but the families of Abby and Libby still have full confidence that this will be solved. The police feel as though the killer could be hiding in plain sight and are determined to catch him. A construction of a memorial park to honor the girls began to give the families and the friends and those close to them something positive to look forward to while they await the catching of the killer. Like in a lot of cases, there have been plenty of people who have taken to social media, different forums, commenting on videos, with all these crazy theories as to what they think happened. And Libby's big sister took to YouTube to debunk a lot of these different theories, defending the theory that her family hasn't been cooperative, saying that her family has been very involved. All they want is justice for the girls and to really put an end to those different conspiracies, which I completely agree. The family is going through enough. They don't need everybody's 2 cents put in unless that 2 cents is of importance to helping solve the case. Her sister has been advocating for the girls and is optimistic that this case will be solved. This case is absolutely devastating, and I hope and pray that for the families, the friends, the town, and mostly for Abby and Libby, that justice is served and the killer is captured. I can't imagine living in such a small town where it's speculated that the killer could still be living in that town and not have some sort of conclusion to this case. So I hope and pray that through people bringing awareness to this case, that there will be a break and that justice will be served. But I think it's great that the families are hopeful and optimistic that there will be an end to this case and we will find out what happened to the girls. I would love to know your guys' thoughts and theories down below. What do you guys make of the video and audio captured by Libby? I think that it's so brave of the girls to have pulled out Libby's phone and taken video and audio footage of the man the minute that they felt unsettled by the situation. It just goes to show that even in the calmest and quietest, safest of towns, it's important to be alert, be aware, and stay safe. So I'd love to know all of your guys' thoughts and theories on this particular case down below, and I will be hopeful that there will be a resolution to this case. With that being said, I would once again like to thank today's video sponsor, Care of. Make sure you guys take the Care of quiz. Click the link down below and use my code Hailey Reese for 50% off of your first month of Care of. And that is it for today's video. If you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my videos, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and click that subscribe button. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.